The Courting by Meinekeime, Chapter 31, The Golden Trio. Draco's point of view. Blaise had left quite some days ago. I had pushed him and the matter into the back of my mind. I was about to read the letter my relative sent me because I was interrupted quite some times. The first time, Toppy had brought me some tea and asked for another evening off. Slowly, I was becoming interested in the meetings. The person that was taking up so much of her time. The second time, a customer of mine needed an emergency meeting with me. And then the factory fire called. An experiment had failed, and 3 people had been hurt. I informed their families and sent them to the hospital owned by me. Luckily, all of my workers lived in the village in France, near the factories and the hospital, so they could visit the hurt workers as soon as possible, and I didn't need to pay for their transportation. When I felt the dog mug burn, I groaned. I guess I won't be finishing my mail today. I apparated to the Dumbledore's location. Seeing him going around angrily, his wife behind him. At the edge of the room, people were standing around and talking to each other. They weren't other Death Eaters. I could tell by checking the arms quickly, but I could tell that some of them had long teeth. The other Death Eaters entered, apparating together. We approached the Dark Lord. "You called, my lord?" Goril said and bowed. "Yes, I hope you brought some anger with you. When my information is right, then these here will be quite a show," he told us, and I saw someone pushing through to us and into the arms of the Dark Lord. "Mother! Father!" Harry said, hugging both of them. One looked like a female Harry with 40 years, and Neville. "Good that you're all here. Let's sit down." We all made a seat up here for ourselves before sitting in a half circle. I was about to talk to Harry, who was still between Neville and his father, when the vampires stopped whispering and stood up straight. The big double doors opened, and the vampires bowed their heads when a person appeared. "Master!" They greeted the newcomer. He was carrying someone's he held by their collars. One he had thrown over his shoulder. "Greetings, Lord Grant. Name's Blaise Zipling, Master of the Coven that is standing around you. I brought you the so-called Golden Trio." Blaise threw 2 of them on the ground in front of the Dark Lord's feet, while he set the last person down slowly. They were all bound with rope, but not gagged. "Let us go, you cruel bastard," Weasley said, and crawled into his girlfriend. "Ron, what's going on?" the one nearest to Blaise asked, scared. "Just shut up, Paul," Ron hissed and gave the boy a hateful look. "I will give you them if I get my reward," Blaise said, stepping nearer to the Dark Lord. "Wait, my friend, I need to make sure these are the persons I asked for. Harry, love, would you?" he said with a smirk, and his beautiful son stood before his chair. He first approached the mudblood. "Harry, what are you doing here? Are they hurting you? You need to cut all rope so we can help you escape." The pathetic girl tried, but Harry didn't seem bothered by her at all. When he touched her hair and cast some spells at her. "I'm fine, never been better," he said to her as he approached the next ginger. "Harry, you're working with the dark side? Are you under some kind of spell? That you didn't understand us? We are your friends." "Still a loudmouth and as stupid as a toad. It's the real one, as is the girl. They are Ronald, Bilious, Weasley, and Hermione Granger. For the last one, I can't tell. I need to check him," Harry told us, and stepped in between them to approach the last boy. "Harry, you're betraying your real friends," Ron hissed. "Shut your mouth, Weasley," Neville said from his seat. "And you too, Neville. What did we ever do to you?" Hermione said, and Neville rolled his eyes while crossing his arms and feet. "Exactly. What did you ever do for me? Nothing. I couldn't expect anything for you. I heard your name calling on, and I saw the looks you gave me, Hermione. I don't understand how Charlie is related to you, Weasley." I saw that Harry was about to touch the boy on the back, when a woman looking over him jumped and wings grew from her back. "No, Harry, don't you feel the energy around him?" she asked. Harry jumped back while she approached him. "I didn't. Grandmother, what is it?" he asked while she took out her wand and cast some spells over the boy on the ground. The second the boy was touched with the spells, his eyes opened wide, and he scurried to the back of the room in the corner. "Impenous charm," Harry's grandmother said, and Blaze's eyes flew open. He ran over to the boy and tried to scoop him up, but he started to struggle and cry. "Let him in peace, you big oaf. He's scared, don't you see?" Harry ordered Blaze and pushed him out of the way. The second Harry and his grandmother were near the boy, he clung into himself and the woman and hid in her neck. "What's going on?" the Dark Lord asked, irritated, and his wife hit him on the head and shook his head. "Please remind me why I married you." "He is feeling the submissive fumes of my mother. Now back to you, Master Zippin. The land is yours, and which one do you want?" Severus said and gestured to the pair lying on the ground. Blaze looked directly at Severus and said, "Paul Macbeth, you can keep these two. I don't care one bit for them, as long as they are getting what they deserve." He bowed before the Dark Lord and went over to Paul, and his look said everything. The scared boy wouldn't be fed to his younglings, would have spent a lot of time in Blaze's private chambers. After they had left, his coven followed them out, and most likely back to their home, back to the matter at hand. The pair on the ground had started to spit out insults at us, and cursing. The second Harry had sat down, the Dark Lord stood up and went around to the two. "What should we do with you? Maybe let Bellatrix torture you? Oh yeah, she's not here today. You're lucky you're not. Maybe I should do it myself." "No, that would mean moving a finger for your pathetic selves. Severus, love, do you have an idea?" My godfather shook his head and looked over at Harry. "Father," my pretty angel exclaimed to the Dark Lord, turning to him. "They have betrayed me. How about I decide their punishment?" The Mudblood and Weasel looked shocked. "Harry, no, have mercy!" Granger screamed, but Harry's look was cold. "Jackson, Draco, Joe, Oliver?" "Yes, love?" We answered back and stood up from our seats. "See this as a little extra challenge. Get as much information from them as possible as a team." We nod and turn around facing our victims. "And who would you be?" spat Granger. "Harry's soon-to-be husband," we said at once, looking at each other. "Harry, you're a greedy slut," the girl shouted. "Not only one man, but four. We are risking our lives out here for you, and you're enjoying yourself, swimming in well. I'm sure you're just a slut, and they're using you like the bitch you are." "Silencio," I said in silence to the girl. She was making Harry uncomfortable, and I didn't like that one bit. "Hey, Draco, can you pass me the chick? It seems her boyfriend's really clinging to her." Joe asked me, and I threw her into his direction. She landed with a humph in front of him. "How about you tell us everything, and we won't hurt her as much?" Oliver said to Ron, but the latter shook his head. "Joe, don't you think she's pretty? But I really don't like her face." "You're right, Jackson. It's so unmysterical. Maybe a bigger star under both eyes would make it better." "Yeah, Draco. Do you have a knife? A glass shard would do the trick too." I shook my head, but summoned Toppy. "What can Toppy do for Master?" "Bring me my old knife, the blunt one. While you're at it, grab some Verita serum and a parcel of whatever is in my cauldron." Toppy nodded and returned with the things I asked for. I threw the Veela serum at Oliver so he can give it to Ron, and I gave the knife to Joe. Where do we start? Under the eye or the forehead? Joe asked and placed the knife on Hermione's face. Please, stop. I'll tell you everything, whatever you want. Dumbledore is trying to infiltrate the ministry. He is hiding at the burrow still. Ron shouted. Joe gave me a quick look, and I shook my head. Sorry, boy. Not enough, Jackson said, while Joe made a cut under Granger's eye, down to her chin. The silencing storm stopped her from moaning in pain, but the look would give even Bellatrix an orgasm. I stopped near Hermione. You know, Ron, you Gryffindors are so brave. Do you see this potion in my hand? It's a normally harmless potion when finished. But it isn't finished, and I want to know what it does now. How about your girlfriend will try it for me? I asked him and held the vial in front of his face before turning to Hermione, while Jackson held her mouth open. No, stop! The Order has plans to attack the school next week. They are unhacking the seniors next month, and he promised to do that we could have Harry when we finish the war. We all turned our heads at the last bit of information. The Dark Lord jumped from his seat and kicked Ron in the face. That's enough. Bring the two of them to the cells, he ordered, and we left them. But not before I poured the potion down Ron's throat. What I didn't tell him was that the Furley Brood potion was a diarrhea potion. It would make him shit himself for days on end. End of chapter 31.